Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and another episode of Planet Coaster 2. Today we're going to be looking at the Sorcery Pack DLC that just came out today, and as I was looking through it, thankfully the folks over at Frontier gave me the opportunity to have an early look at it, so I really appreciate them for doing that. And as I was looking through the pieces, there's just lots of Gothic architectural pieces in there with the keep set. There's also a town set, which we'll look at in a minute here, but I wanted to do something a little bit different that wasn't, kind of Harry Potter adjacent. Not that there's anything wrong with using the set in that way. I just was looking to see just how versatile this set can be, because me, like many of you, use these pieces in all sorts of ways. They're not just limited to the type of theme that you're building in. So obviously, this is heavily inspired by Notre Dame Cathedral. It's not, up to my usual standards of like precise, exact replication. Just didn't have enough time for it. In fact, I actually didn't even have enough time to do anything but the front part. So, which is kind of a bummer, because I was really hoping to do some of the flying buttresses on the side and give you a really cool view of the back part of the cathedral, but. As even with that in mind, this was all pretty rushed in putting together. So, and you'll see some of that as we get closer to it. But the cathedral here is probably about 80% of the DLC. There is some additional scenery items in here from other packs, but I really wanted to try to use as much of that as possible. One really great thing about this pack is that it does vibe really well with the fantasy pack and the castle scenery pieces. It does create actually even more options and opportunities to use them with one another, and you'll see some of that in here. Is definitely a fair amount of those pieces, but some of the standouts to me in this pack as we get closer here are the columns. You'll see a lot of the columns here. For like example for that, there's these ones here with this, kind of rope beading detail on the sides. There's these are actually just the wall pieces right here, and then lots of statuary pieces that you can use for ornamentation. Got some of these items are also in the pack for ornamentation as well. You see these spiral columns here. The railing is not part of the pack. The rose window is. You can see I've got some other non-pack windows in here, and some statuary as well. And then this piece I wanted to point out here. We'll look at it individually in a second, but this is a wooden piece actually. But just drives home that if you tweak the color codes just enough from a distance, it can mirror stone, and this saved me from having to go in and individually create all of those little arches at the top there. But overall, this was a lot of fun to do, and I'm not going to review the coasters in this video just because I'm not an expert on them, and there will probably be plenty of people that are highlighting that today. But from what I've seen, I know yesterday Frontier had a preview of all of this, right? And everyone who is a coaster fan and really knowledgeable about them, for the most part, the feedback I saw was that they are really, really happy with the additions. I can't remember. I should have wrote it down before I started recording, but this is a Paris building set or French building set off of the workshop that I kind of started to mess with. I'll put I'll credit the creator on the video here, and then put the link to the workshop item in the comments below. But just wanted to kind of drive home the vibes a little bit more there. You can see the fencing here, the lampposts from the set. There's just one thing you're gonna love is the lamppost. Is modular. So this one is not, this is just a standard piece, but they broke out all of those individual pieces. And so we're really going to be able to create almost any custom lamp that you can put or that you can think of, right? That your imagination is the limit on that front. All right, so let's pop out of here and we'll go over and take a look at all of the scenery items that come with the pack. And I'm going to change the lighting here, a little less dramatic. So for the most part, the pack is really great. I do have a little bit of feedback that I think can improve these scenery packs in the future. And it kind of takes from stuff we used to get in the original version of the game. So as you can see, just from high level here, there's 2 building sets. There's the town set. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, townhouse set, which is kind of like your Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley type of building scenery. And then there's the keep set, which is more castle based. You can see where naturally I got the inspiration for Gothic architecture just looking at these scenery pieces here. A couple things that I will say in terms of, like I said, that constructive feedback is some of the scaling is pretty crazy here. So if we compare this is the 100% scale for this door, and the knob is like the size of that guy's face. So I would love to see, something like this be your 100% scale. And then we, go north and south from there. And part of that is I would prefer more on the smaller end, and I get that can create issues with performance, but I'm not sure. Maybe there's some application, but a 300% door, I don't know, why that's there. So one thing I have decided as a result of this pack is just some of these pieces are a little large. Like another one, for example, you can see right here. This could make sense, right? If it's a large fence outside of a castle, this is probably appropriately sized, but many of us would probably use this more on this level. So, being able to scale it down to the minimum here does fix that problem, and same thing with the door. So it's not that you can't find workarounds. It's just a little detail that I think could be tweaked and improve the packs going forward. But I am likely going to download this. This might be a third rail to touch on, but download the mod that allows you to, I can't remember what it's called. The mod that allows you to basically scale, the scaling mod. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't get that out. The scaling mod to allow you to really further enhance how you can use all these pieces. Another little detail that I would like to see is, roof pieces like this are awesome. This corner piece is really, really nice. I love the texture of this slate roof. You can put them side by side and use that to create, a nice mansard roof. But I would love to be able to go, apart. So there's really 2 ways you can go about this. I don't know why it's doing that. One is you just have to keep extending them out like this, which is fine. There's not anything necessarily wrong with that, but you do get a lot of overlap, and then you start to get Z fighting and things like that. Or the alternative to that is, and I'm thrilled with this feature, but splitting this piece from the grid, and now that we can rotate gridded pieces that aren't a part of the building, so you cannot scale the gridded pieces. I know there was some debate about that. Unfortunately, you can't do that. But one thing you can do while I'm doing this is, and I think they showed this yesterday, but the angle snap, you can go all the way down to 1%, which is amazing. So I'm interested to see who the first person is that does Epcot's geodesic dome or sphere. And now that we can do 1% increments. So anyway, that's a way you can come around it, and then you could find a scenery piece to kind of continue this flashing, or you could hide it up here with other scenery items. So there's workarounds, no doubt, but these are just little quality of life things that had they just made a piece at this angle that could go between. And an example of that, a non-gridded piece is what I mean, is in this tile roof set, we have this piece, which is a wonderful piece if you're not using it. It's really helpful to create custom roofs without having to, do individual tiles all the way around, especially for buildings that aren't prominent, right? I'm a fan of using the tile pieces for really prominent structures. But something like this, just in the same texture, you could, use that to fill in the gaps as well. And you could even use it for this smaller roof piece down here, layering a couple of them on top of each other. So just a little more attention to stuff like that, I think, is the only major criticisms I have of this. Otherwise, this is a must own, in my opinion. I don't think, and I would even say that in comparison to some of the other sets in the original game. There's just so many ways you can use this. Even just as a wall in a generic park, that texture is going to be huge. The tile set here on this is the keep roof. You know, the wonderful slate roofs. I mean, and this brick wall, I can't believe I just glossed over that. I mean, the texture on this is incredible. The way that it can be recolored is amazing. You've got two color slots that you can recolor. Just really, really well done all the way around. The only other thing too that I would like to see is, so this set comes with these arch pieces. You can see two of the small arches there. But in Planet Coaster 1, almost every set came with a larger arch. So not unlike this, but it would be an arch piece. And I believe the castle set from the Fantasy Pack has that on the grid. Yeah, right here. So something like this. This is extremely useful for a lot of applications. And now too that we can, advance move the, there we go, the gridded pieces. I mean, there's just all kinds of ways that something like this could be utilized. And I'd love to see more of this piece included in future sets, just for versatility. Yeah, some of the highlights for me, the animatronics, another thing that's interesting departure from the earlier ones. I'll hit play. These spiders creep me out. I'm not going to lie. It can get massive, so this is really funny. Watch how huge this can get. 500%. So you could really get creative with that. And then it does get a lot smaller as well. Still big, but more down in the peep side. So lots of flexibility in how you want to use these for various, dark rides or, queue scenery, whatever it might be, or scenery on the ride itself. But you'll notice that, this is the animatronic we can scale, where in the past, everything that moved, we could not scale. Same thing with this cool piece here, can be scaled up and down. I know when people saw this piece here, I'm gonna hit pause. When people saw this piece here, they were hopeful that it was recolorable, because you can obviously use that to create some custom lamps. So happy to say that is also scalable. And then what I mentioned earlier, since we're on the topic of lights, this is all modular. So it comes with this piece, which is all one, but then each of these pieces are broken out into individual, and you can even replace, the topper. You've got the posts that make up the main lamp here. This sign I think is awesome. So if we do, like, that's beautiful. I mean, you can use that, and that just screams like almost Disney to me, not even Sorcery Pack. So these lights too are all incredible. Sides of buildings. This is very Victorian in nature. Same thing with this. I'm just, you can see why I'm so excited about this pack, as there's going to be so much variety, and so many ways you can use each of these pieces. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the pack. I'm not going to necessarily go through each individual piece. One other thing, it would have been nice to have a few more window options for the keep. But again, the castle set, you can intermingle these together, even with the doors, right? So, I mean, they're going to make sense. They all mesh well together. You got to tweak the color codes a little bit. But, that's obvious. You can come in here and, you can fudge with it to make it look like it all came from the same quarry, right? So yeah, really, really amazing pack. I can't wait to see what everyone does with it and how you all build with it. I think I got enough of the itch here. I think I'm gonna finish this cathedral and create a little Paris scene around this area, just as a mini project. I've still been building stuff for a theme park that I'll use at some point in time, but I don't have a big vision for a park in totality, and part of that too is I do want to wait for more packs to come out before I really start to put together a broader park project, and so stuff like this is probably what I'm going to continue to do in the meantime, is just little one-off projects like this that scratch the creative itch. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all are enjoying the pack yourself, and can't wait to see all the amazing coasters and scenery pieces that you all build. Thanks for watching the channel. Look forward to seeing you in another episode. Have a great day.